Hi everyone, welcome back to my channel. I'm Courtney Ryan, and if you're new to dating or you've gone through most of your life without much experience, first of all, I just want to say you are not alone and you are not broken. I think there's this huge misconception that if you're not a sort of natural with women by your 20s, that something is wrong with you, but that is just simply not true. Everyone has to start somewhere, and the good news is that dating is a skill, one that you can learn, practice, and improve. So in today's video, I'm going to walk you through some practical tips that will help you feel more confident, help you make better connections, and actually enjoy the process of dating, even if you are starting from zero experience. Okay, the first thing I'm going to talk about is I want you to stop thinking that you are behind. I think this is probably what is holding a lot of you guys back, this belief that you are behind. Maybe your friends have had girlfriends, or you see people getting married on social media and you feel like you have completely missed your window. But the truth is, people come into their confidence and their emotional maturity at different times in their lives. What matters isn't how early you start, it's how intentional you are once you do. You know, a guy who starts dating at 30 but takes the time to learn, communicate, and build real emotional awareness is going to probably have a much happier, healthier relationship than someone who dated all through his 20s or hooked up with a bunch of girls but never actually learned anything from it. So instead of comparing yourself, which I know is incredibly hard to do, especially with social media, I want you to focus on building skills and gaining experience the right way. Every date, even the ones that might feel a little bit awkward, is practice and progress. You have to stop thinking that you're behind or that you've completely missed your chance just because you're not on the same path as other people you know or people that you see on social media. We all have different journeys and experiences. Some people marry their high school sweethearts. Some people marry the person they met in college. Other people meet someone wonderful in their late 30s, 40s, 50s, and they end up having a wonderful relationship. So I know it's difficult not to compare yourself, but you've got to try not to. Comparison is the thief of joy. Number 2, confidence comes from competence. I think a lot of inexperienced men think that confidence just magically appears one day, but it doesn't. Confidence is built through doing. Think of it like the gym. The first few times you go, you feel really awkward. You don't know where to start. You don't know what to do. You're walking around aimlessly, looking at other people, comparing yourself. But over time, as you learn the equipment and you get stronger, you stop overthinking everything. Dating is sort of the same way. The more that you practice talking to women, planning dates, learning what works and what doesn't, understanding your patterns and your own behaviors, the more confident you will become. So instead of saying, I'm not confident enough to date, flip it to, I'll get more confident through dating. And that might mean starting pretty small, like striking up a short conversation with someone while you're waiting in line for coffee, or making light small talk with a coworker. The goal isn't to get a date from every interaction, it's just to practice being social and comfortable. Number 3, focus on connection, not performance. I say this all the time. When you're inexperienced, I think it is so easy to get stuck in your head and treat dates like a test, like you have to perform perfectly or you will fail and she won't like you and it's because of something that you did. But here's the thing, great women are not looking for perfection. They're looking for you to be present. So instead of trying to be overly funny, smooth, or impressive, just focus on being curious. Ask genuine questions, listen to her answers, pay attention to what lights her up when she talks, her golden nugget, as I've called it in the past. You know, for example, instead of running through basic interview questions like, what do you do? Where are you from? Which you might ask those questions. Those are very normal questions to ask. You could ask, you know, what's something that you've been up to lately? Or what's your go-to way to recharge after a long week? How do you spend your weekends? What's something that you're looking forward to right now? Or, you know, if she asks you something, ask her the same question in return. We want to focus on equal sharing. But I think these questions show that you're interested in who she is, not just what she does. I think that's what really builds connection. And it's something that you can do at any experience level. I've actually done a handful of videos on the best and worst questions to ask on a first date and really how to try to connect with people rather than just impressing them. And I think this really goes a long way. So if you need a little bit of help in that department, I've got you covered. Number 4, don't overcompensate for your inexperience. A really common mistake that I see inexperienced guys make is trying to hide the fact that they don't have a lot of dating history. They overcompensate by acting overly confident, which ends up being kind of cocky, or they start talking about dating like it's a game. They talk about other women, being a player, not good. That kind of approach tends to read as insecurity instead of being impressive though. I personally do not think that you need to treat your inexperience as some elephant in the room that you need to announce or give a sort of disclaimer about yourself. But if it ever does naturally come up that you haven't really dated much, you can keep it so simple. And I'll give you an example of what you could say. You could say something so simple like, I haven't dated a ton. I've just been focused on other parts of my life. That kind of response shows maturity and self-awareness, not that you feel shameful about it, because you shouldn't feel shameful about it. Women respect honesty when it's delivered calmly and confidently. And for what it's worth, most women don't actually care how many people you've dated. They care about how you show up with them right now. Now, obviously, I cannot speak for every woman on the planet, but for me personally, I would find it to be more of a red flag if a guy had dated a ton of girls or like hooked up with a ton of girls, slept around and just been kind of a player versus a guy who hadn't really dated as many people or anyone. Just me personally, that's my opinion. I know not every single woman would agree, but if you care about my opinion, that's where I would stand on it. Okay, the next thing you're gonna do is learn the basics of planning a good date. When you're new to dating, do not overcomplicate the logistics. I think a lot of guys tend to do this. The first few dates should be simple, low pressure, and built around conversation. A great first date idea is something like coffee or tea at a cozy spot, a walk and dessert. If you drink, you could do drinks at a quiet bar with good lighting and seating. I think the point is really to create a space for natural conversation, not distractions. And one tip that I have for you that I also don't want you to overthink is always have a plan. Even if it is so casual, just suggest a specific time and a place. For example, hey, would you want to grab dinner at Vero Pizza on Thursday night around 7? That tiny bit of leadership there goes such a long way in showing that you're thoughtful and intentional. Number 6, learn to read interest and disinterest. One of the hardest parts of dating when you're inexperienced is figuring out if someone likes you back. But here is a simple rule of thumb. Interest looks like engagement. She asks questions, makes eye contact, laughs, touches her hair, mirrors your energy. Disinterest, on the other hand, looks like disengagement. Short answers, looking around the room, checking her phone, no effort to keep the conversation going. Now, of course, every woman is different and she might be nervous. I have done so many videos on signs she likes you, signs she doesn't, things to look out for. And I really think it's better to look at the bigger picture rather than just focusing on one or two little things. For example, just because she's laughing does not mean that she automatically likes you. She could just be being polite. So looking for these one-off little things is not really going to help you read the room. So try to look for multiple signs of interest instead of just one-off things. And if you're not sure, don't spiral. You will figure it out as you go. And the good news is you will get better at reading this with time. And the more you practice, the more your instincts sharpen. Number 7, build a life that feels full, not one that waits for a girlfriend. This one is huge. Do not put your life on pause, waiting for someone to complete it. Start developing a life that you genuinely enjoy. Hobbies, fitness, friendships, personal goals. When your life feels rich and full on your own, you will naturally become more attractive and confident. Dating should add to your happiness, not be the only source of it. This is something I try to mention when I can in videos because it is so important. And honestly, that is what women are drawn to. Men who have purpose, passion, and independence. Now, I'm not saying that those things will automatically lead you to a relationship. We don't just automatically get things because we've done X, Y, and Z beforehand. But at a minimum, it will make you feel better. Because at the end of the day, you want to feel confident about the life that you're building and potentially inviting a woman into. Number 8, be kind to yourself along the way. You are going to make mistakes. You will have awkward moments. You might get rejected, maybe more than once, maybe multiple times, maybe 10 times. But that doesn't mean that you are not worthy of a relationship or being loved. I think it is very rare to become great at dating overnight. I think one of the most attractive things you can do is just approach it with curiosity instead of feeling shame. Every single experience teaches you something new about yourself, about people, and about what kind of connection that you really want. So to all the guys watching this who feel inexperienced or late to the game, remember this: there is nothing wrong with starting slow. Dating isn't about having a perfect track record. It's about learning how to be open, curious, and kind while building confidence over time. If you focus on connection, communication, and building a great life outside of dating, the rest will start to follow. So guys, that is all I have for this one. If you like this video or found it helpful, be sure to give it a thumbs up and subscribe to be in the loop for when I release new content. And leave a comment below sharing what part of dating feels the hardest for you right now and maybe what feels the easiest. I would just love to get a conversation going down below. I always love reading your stories and experiences down in the comments, and I think it can also really help out some other guys as well. If you haven't already, also be sure to follow me over on Instagram at Courtney Christine Ryan. I love connecting with all of you guys over on there as well. As always, thank you all so much for watching, and I will see you all next time.